I'm here with Spencer of Underoath to talk about Voyeurist, out January 14th on Fearless Records. How's it going with you?
Good, man. Doing good, doing good.
Let me start off by asking you, are you a little bit of the voyeuristic type person?
I think in terms of what we're speaking about in the record, the whole world is. I mean, we all sit around and check our phones and look at, other people's lives via Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or Facebook. The voyeurist actually isn't a real word, but voyeur is, and it gets misconstrued as a sexual thing when it's not. It's just about peering in and viewing in on someone else's life. And with that being said, in the day of modern era of social media is pretty much what everyone does. We're all voyeurists in that way. So yeah.
Part of being in a band, it allows you to allow other people to see a little bit more of you. Is that a vicious cycle that you find yourself kind of stuck in, where regardless of how private you want it to be, part of who you are and part of being in a band is also allowing fans a little bit into the things that you're up to and the things that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just kind of comes with the territory. I've always in my life looked up to the era where there was mystery in rock and roll, like not knowing what band members looked like unless you went to the show or you went and bought a magazine and you caught a glimpse or whatever. I'm definitely more of a fan of not knowing what your favorite singers, kids are eating for dinner. But things have changed, and I think that just kind of comes with it now. And I just think that's where the world's at right now, is everyone wants to be, as involved as they want to be. Like you can pick or choose to follow someone and see what they're up to at every second of the day, so.
Was that a little bit of the backdrop that motivated you guys to push that as the main theme of this record?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's like a visual theme of like the next era of the chapter of the Underoath journey. And it literally has nothing to do with the lyrical content on the record, which is the first record we've done ever that the title has zero to do with the lyrics. It's more of a blanket statement of where we're all at as people. And yeah, I think that's, we've got a great team between management and the label, and we have this the team that does all of our visuals and the artwork, and they're called Tension Division. And we came up with that concept kind of together as we were working through the observatory stuff that we did last year.
How did you guys tackle this album from a creative perspective? Has anything changed drastically over the course of the band's movement and with each and every single record?
There's four of us that are the main writers. It's myself, Tim, Chris, and Aaron. And we kind of decided to go back to the way we normally do things, which is all the music, outside of the lyrics, the music will be written if we're all in the same room. We didn't do anything like bring a song in, finished, and let's all get on it and try to morph it into an Underoath song, or these two guys wrote this song and brought it in, and then the other two guys jumped on it and tried to, mold all this stuff into an Underoath record. We decided to kind of go back to how it was when we were kids, which was you used to write your records like jamming, like in a loud room and a practice space or whatever. Hey, buddy. And we kind of did that, but we did that with the tools of 2021, which is you're doing that, but we do it in a studio space where we can capture all the moments and work on the pieces as a whole, but tracking them individually and crafting the song kind of in a studio demo form. So we kind of melded what the future and what people do now and kind of what we've done the last record with how we used to do it, which is all being together all the time. So
did that process that you guys take on this album drive a little bit of the diversity of sound and even of the song constructions that we see on the record?
100%. I mean, we made this record ourselves and we produced it ourselves. Our front of house guy who tours with us, who's our good buddy JJ, he was engineering, so it was real. Just we're in control. We had no time limit. We get to do what we want, and it definitely allowed us to do what Underoath always did in the past, which was evolve and experiment. You know, I think if we would have had a big time producer there that costs a fortune, you know, for every day, sometimes you don't get to explore some of those avenues because it's a waste of time, you know, when you could be tracking the song or the single or working on this part or that part. Like, we had the freedom that, you know, we feel like we've always tried to keep in the band, which is like, let's see where this goes. Let's write this song and follow it to the finish line. And if it's not better than this other song that's kind of in the same lane, then we can just scrap it. It's no big deal, you know? So it definitely allowed us to experiment and kind of enjoy the process a little bit.
One of the great elements of the record was that diversity didn't really impact on a negative way the fluidity of the album. When you listen to this record, you get different songs that have different vibes, different feels, but they're all really well meshed together and they're all really well interconnected to give this record a sense of continuity from beginning to end. How do you guys find that balance of keeping the individual aspect of the songs alive and well, but still thinking about the overall big picture of the record?
I don't think we think about it. I think as we start to write a batch of songs, it starts to feel that way when we do it, like I was saying earlier, together, not as individuals and not, you know, separately. And the thing that makes it sound cohesive and sound like Underoath is, I think the four of us have such different tastes and such different ideas of the outcome, but we all want the same thing, which is the best possible version of the song. We just all have a different vision of that. And then when you've got these four different, you know, visions, and there's this really thin middle ground, when we finally get to a spot where all four of us love the song, that's what makes it the Underoath sound, you know. And it could be a song that's, you know, more singing and poppy. It could be a song that's more long and dramatic and artsy. It could be a song that's just heavy as fuck. Wherever we land, where we all agree that this is the song, you know, that's what the cohesiveness is, in my opinion, because it's tough. It's tough for us all to be on the same page.
And you mentioned earlier, in terms of the lyrical content being a little detached from the title of the record. What drives the lyrical content on this album? Was the lyrics driven by the sound that you guys created, or did you had already some lyrics in your back pocket that kind of inspired the sound that went with it?
No, me and Aaron normally write just off of what's been happening in our lives in the people around us. You know, like, I think everyone experienced some weird times during the, you know, pandemic and lockdown and quarantine. And we didn't write any songs about COVID or people getting sick, or, you know, even when I use the word virus in a song, like, I'm not talking about COVID or anything. It's just a lot of the fuel from, I think, the uncertainty that we all felt, you know, as a world. You know, I think everyone at one point didn't know what was next, didn't know if they were safe. You know, everyone's career, for the most part, got taken away from them, at least for a particular point in time. And everything that everyone that worked so hard on, I think we all as people try to control our lives as much as possible. And then that realization that you're not in control when something like this happens, I think it embeds a lot of anxiety and fear and anger. And I think all of those things, even though it's not a COVID record about the pandemic in the world and politics, none of that shit's on the record, but that stuff fuels you in a way because it's in the back of your mind and it's all, you know, it's constantly being talked about and it's everything around you. So you're kind of like trying to be productive and write art, you know, music and make great songs, but deep down inside of you, you're, you know, I think you're a little angry and uncertain, and I think that drove the record to be more aggressive than the last one.
When it comes to your vocals coming into a record like this, do you have a game plan beforehand or do you allow yourself to be a little bit more organic with the vibe that's in the studio when you guys are going through the process?
Well, we demo everything as we write it. So when we normally make the music, when we're all happy with the music, me and Aaron would go back to the Airbnb that we had, and we'd start working on melodies and rhythms and lyrics, and we demo stuff out until we're happy. And a lot of things would change, and a lot of things would stay the same. So we don't really go in with a game plan. We just, when the song, we feel like the song musically is dope, that's when we start like really, carving out the lyrics and the melodies and stuff, which is opposite from a lot of other songwriting. I write with a lot of other different people and work for a lot of different genres, and a lot of times lyrics and melodies are first. But with a band like Underoath, in that kind of vein of music, that doesn't tend to be the case all the time.
How is it working with Aaron? You guys are kind of a vocal tag team, if you will, if we're talking wrestling terms. How do you guys approach a track in terms of deciding where you go, where he goes? How does that go?
We just don't really talk about it too much. I mean, I don't think it's just kind of like we feel it out what makes sense. It's like we work together and put our heads together to make the best thing humanly possible. And then what makes sense as we're playing it, and and how's it going to be live, and how are we going to do this? And a lot of times we tend to lean towards what's going to make this the best live. I feel like Underoath has really leaned on the fact that we're a live band more so than anything. I mean, yes, we make records and we put things out, and people stream our songs, but I think Underoath is really more about, our whole career has been about the live show. It's more of an event. It's like a thing people go to and experience. Like you experience Underoath differently at the venue than you would just in your car or listen to it in your headphones. Like, yes, we want you to listen to it in your car and listen to it on the headphones and digest the music and pay attention, but it's a whole different animal when it's live. And we really lean on that a lot when we're writing. Sometimes we'll, like writing damn excuses. We're like, what's a good, we need another song that feels like that energy. And that's what we were going for when we were writing that. It's like, we need another just, straight, in your face down, punch in the nose, like, let's work on that. And, we wanted to have another experimental song to where we can, I don't know, just catch the vibe. And, that's what Pneumonia became, is we were just no rules, we were just trying to vibe of like what we like to play, because at the end of the day, if you don't love what you're doing and you don't love the songs that you're making, like there's no point. We don't need to release songs that we're not 100% in love with, so we try to find that side of the coin on all sides, like listening to it. Do we think that's the best version of us right now? Is that the best heavy song we could write? And then playing it, like, is this fun to play? Do we love playing this? It's like something we want to play every single night for the rest of our lives. All those things kind of eventually make their way into the thought process, because live is so important to us.
I felt on this album you had a very emotionally driven delivery as far as your vocals were concerned. Like I could feel that you were feeling what was happening with you within the songs. Is there a track that on this album stands out from that emotional perspective that you feel more connected to?
Not more so than the others. I definitely feel more emotionally connected to this record than the last record. I think there's a lot more. Like I said, I think it's just like the world was in and still is in a pretty weird spot. And I just think, I decided to not go to college or university or whatever you guys call it. And, I did the like follow your dreams thing that everyone told me, like your teachers and your parents always tell you, you can't follow your dreams. It's never going to work for you. You're crazy. Like you should go to school, get a job, be secure. And like, we did that. We did it our way. We followed our dreams. We worked really hard and we've been successful. We all have families and houses, and this is how we make a living. This is like our life. And we've been doing it for almost 20 years. And then bam, you can't do it anymore. Someone tells you you're not allowed to do it anymore. And I think that was really hard to wrap my brain around, and it was very frustrating. And I think, it was such an uncertain time, you know, of just like, what the fuck? Like, I spent my whole life doing what everyone told me I couldn't do, and I did it anyway. And here I am, and now I have no control. And now, am I screwed? Like, what are you gonna do now? You know, like, are you gonna go get a, you know, like, go? What are you gonna, you know, what other skills do we have, like, in the real world, as far outside of writing music, you know? And so yeah,
It's tough.
luckily we, you know, we've all managed to make it through this really weird time. But yeah, I think a lot of that just emotion was delivered in the studio, for sure.
It definitely came across throughout the entire record. Looking back at the album, is there a Moby Dick for you guys on this record, a track that almost didn't make the album, but one of you felt that it was so strong that we have to just really work on it in order to make it to the record?
No, honestly, we were actually like in a really good flow, you know, like when we started writing and demoing the record, which is why we decided to produce it ourselves. Like, it was going so well, you know. I think just being off the road and being away from each other, and then when we came together to write, we were just like, you know, like we didn't know what we wanted, but like, but it's somewhere deep inside of us, I think we did, because we all were kind of going towards the same thing, and we were just firing on all cylinders, man. It was special.
One last question for you. I know it's cliche to say that this is a very mature sounding record, but it is a very mature sounding record, and it really comes across in the way you guys constructed the album, the music, the lyrics, everything. The album is just really firing on all cylinders. Is this something that you guys are going to take as a turning point, perhaps, as the band moves forward?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think we have to do what Underoath tries to always do, which is constantly evolve and push ourselves past our comfort zones and past our limits. Like, making an Underoath record isn't pleasant or always fun. You know, it's very hard and challenging, and at times not fun at all. Like, we push each other way past where we're comfortable, and you know, it's not, but I think that's what it takes for this band to make the music it needs to make. You know, not all art has to be suffered through, but I think Underoath is just that kind of band that, to make the right record, like, we really have to push it to our like way beyond our limits. And every record, it gets more, you know, and like every person gets pushed even further. And like, it's when you're done with the Underoath record, you don't want to make another one for a couple of years. So, but yeah, I think we'll continue trying to accomplish that. That's what we've always tried to do, you know.
Well, Spencer, thank you very much for your time today, man. Underoath, Voyeurist, out January 14th on Fearless Records. Go check it out. Incredible record. You guys really put out a phenomenal album. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Take care.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, peace out.